Hello, awesome people. Welcome to the June 6th learning module, Exploring Educational Theories and Differentiating Instruction. The purpose of this video is to walk you around the group space that you'll be using in order to complete the assignment. We'll be talking about the different assignments that are located in this module. And lastly, I want to show you where to find feedback on the lesson plans you completed for the Culturally Proficient Symposium. It'll be important to access that feedback so that you can apply it to the group lesson plans that you have and the individual lesson plans that you'll be submitting to your group members, and then the lesson plan that you finally decide to go with. So that feedback will be important for that. So first off, I am located in the June 6th module, and I got there by clicking on weekly activities and then June 6th. The first thing that you see is the agenda, and it'll tell you what's going on. While there is another embedded object that tells you who's in which groups, you can also click on Google Doc below. I guess I should change that because it's not below anymore. I moved it. And you'll be able to see who belongs in what group and what the educational theories are. So this week there'll be a group for behaviorism, constructivism, information processing, which is also called cognitivism, and then social learning theory. So we'll go through all of those. And then below that, you can see that you've been assigned a teaching model in order to demonstrate the theorist's beliefs about teaching and learning from your educational theory. Okay. All right, so let's go to an example of that project. That is located as the second item on the table of contents, and the theory that I'm going to share with you is called Social Reconstructionist Education Theory. So you will listen to the presentation. The presentation models what the expectation will be, so you can use that as a template. And then when you go into it, you'll click on Click to Launch, and you'll see that your project is a web quest. So you will follow the directions for the web quest in your group space. I'll show you where your home page is for the group wiki, and it'll have all the directions there for you. All the pages have been created to save you some time, and you just simply follow those directions. But if you go through this one, it's an example of what the final product should be. All right, let's go back. Let's see if I can just use the back arrow. There we go. The next item that's going to help you with the educational theories is a voice thread on library research strategies. So this will allow you to search the databases from home so that you can access content for the educational theories. So there's lots of information for behaviorism and constructivism, a little bit less for social learning and information processing, cognitive learning theory. So I put these last two due on the presentation for them will be on the 27th. So you'll have an extra week in order to, find content and use that extra time any way that your group needs. Let's see. Some of these links have already been checked out for you. I went through an open educational resource and found some online textbooks on educational psychology where we can find some of these theories. But you will find a lot of help in this voice thread on library search strategies. I actually contacted the librarian through the chat feature, and she was fabulous, and she gave me 2 databases that I share with you in the video, in the voice thread, and she tells me how to find things. So I actually walk you through what she showed me how to do, and it's going to be really helpful. All right, after that, you will see an interactive voice thread lecture on differentiating instruction. So this will be your first introduction to it in this course anyway. You probably have been exposed to it in previous courses. But I'm going to show you what differentiated instruction means and the nuances of differentiated instruction. So through the voice thread, you'll see examples and non-examples. You'll see how we compare using an asset framework, how we go in and identify strategies based on what students can do, and that's really important. So you'll watch that, and you'll use the ELD proficiency level descriptors in order to identify strategies that will work, or that we think they'll work. Right? So we're kind of taking our best guess when we are identifying differentiated in strategies, because we don't know if they're going to work. We're going to try them out and see, and if they don't, we're going to try something else. Okay. All right, so that's differentiated instruction. So if you click to launch, oh, important, it is an interactive voice thread. So you have to click to launch in order to access the voice thread, and it is graded. So there are 3 slides in which you have to actually leave comments in order for those grades to connect to the Grade Center. Now, I am in Firefox. Don't do that. Access it from Google Chrome, and you won't have, I don't think you'll have this sign up thing. Sometimes it shows up and it really shouldn't. You're authenticated through Blackboard, so it should just access it. You should just be able to access it. But if you have to click sign in, you should end up on the Lancer page. You should be able to enter your username and password and get directly to that voice thread. So try it first from Google Chrome so that you don't have to sign in. Okay. Let's see. All right, so it's really important to do that. Now, I also put some technical notes about doing that, which describes a little bit of what I just said. So make sure you pay attention to that. And there is a button when you're finished with the assignment. It's a blue button that says Assignment Submission. Make sure you click that, because that's what's going to send the work over to the Grade Center. What else do you need to know about that? So just read that section real quick. Okay. All right, and then when you're ready, you can click to launch. The transcript of the voice thread is here, so if you would rather read the slide notes as opposed to listen to the voice thread, you're welcome to do that. All right, and then the last one is a link to your group space. So let's talk about your group space. You'll find again the list of group members and which models you've been assigned to and which theories you've been assigned to. But over on the left underneath the course menu, you will see your group, a link to your group space. So I would encourage you to start first on the home page. There is different content on everybody's home page, so go ahead and read that. It identifies your specific theory as well as the model of teaching that you'll be using. Reminds you of resources available, who's in your group, and then links to the tools that you'll use. So similar to the last group project, you will have discussion boards in order to do the planning. So you'll go into each one of those spaces, follow the directions, answer the content, make your original post, and then you'll work toward consensus. And the different due dates are embedded into the text. So so this one's like the teaching strategies. It's due June 12th, but consensus for information processing is June 26th. For behaviorism and constructivism, you'll be due on June 19th. Okay, so just read those and follow the directions closely. Let's see. The last one, you'll see an area for slide presentation preparation, and you can click the Google presentation slide deck that you can actually build your presentation on. Okay, but everything ultimately will end up on your wiki pages. So let's go and take a look at the group space for the wiki. So you can click on Group Wiki. It'll take you to the web quest, give you all the directions, and you'll see that it has introduction, a task, process, conclusions, and resources. The directions for those pages are here. So simply read them and follow them. It'll tell you what content from the group discussion area belongs on each page. Okay, those pages have already been created for you. So introduction, it's already there. You click edit and you can add content. Okay, now it's a wiki, so anybody can do that. Multiple people can add content, you know, simultaneously. Yeah, so that's the group space, and that's the introduction. So you do the same thing with task, process, conclusions, and resources. All right, so let's see. What's a quick way to get back to, well, I guess I can't. So let's go ahead and click on weekly activities, go back to the June 6th folder, and then I think that takes care of that. So let's talk to you about when you were doing your culturally Proficient Symposium lesson demonstration. You still have access to that. When you access it, I want you to go to the link for the Google Doc that had your lesson presentation on it. Now it's important to access that one because that's where I put the feedback, okay? So you'll find the feedback in comments. Comments have been added, and I added them specifically to number 5 for the objective, and then I added comments to differentiated instruction. So this is simply more like a pre-assessment. You weren't graded on this during your presentation or in the group work. You took your best, you gave me your best thoughts, and so I am responding to that as a teaching moment because you will be evaluated on that in on this teaching model when you develop your lesson. Let's see. What was I going to show you about the concept attainment model? Let me put that on pause for a second. Okay, let's talk about where the rubrics for your discussions are located and for the wiki presentation. Okay, so you can go to Tools on the course menu under Course Resources, and you want to access My Grades. Make sure before you post that you check the criteria. Okay, so we're under, like, the first one would be theoretical perspectives. You click on the view the group rubric and it'll tell you what content needs to be there. Okay, so generally, just like last time, it's either there or it's not. If it's missing anything, then you'll get some credit, but maximum points is when you include all the required elements. So make sure you read each one of them. Let's see, the lesson plan. No, got roles and responsibilities, teaching strategies. Let's see. So you've got an additional kind of assignment here with annotated reference that you didn't do last time. So you want to pay attention to that when you're in that discussion area. And just simply click on the rubric so that you know what's expected. Okay, before we conclude, I'd like to take you back to the example for the wiki and just kind of go over the requirement for that lesson plan, because you've got a few new criteria that we didn't have to worry about when we were integrating with Appendix E. So let's talk about that. So the first thing that you're going to notice on the lesson plan, or that I want you to pay attention to, is that you are going to write an objective, and every person in your group is going to initial that they read that objective and they believe that it has all required elements, okay? Because this time we're evaluating the objective. The other thing that you're going to be evaluated on that you weren't last time was differentiated instruction. So you will be differentiating for each level of ELL, so emerging, expanding, and bridging, and then you'll also do it for a focus student who poses a non-ELL challenge. So low achiever, high achiever, ADHD, ADD, a special education student with auditory processing, deaf student, anything like that. You're going to select a focus student and then create differentiated instruction for it. The framework that we'll be using for differentiated instruction is content, process, and product. So while you have to differentiate for all 3 levels of EL and a focus student, you do not have to differentiate for all 3 in that framework for content, process, and product. That you decide based on your lesson, whether it makes sense to differentiate in one or the other, or all 3, or just a couple. Right? So you get to make that decision. But this is a big, huge one that you weren't evaluated on last time. The last one that you weren't evaluated on last time, oh, actually you were. We are actually reinforcing that this time because we don't want you to forget about it. But you are going to add a number 20 on the list of items, and it will be culturally, I'm actually going to, and no, I'm not going to rephrase that, but it says culturally responsive teaching. We're talking about culturally proficient instruction. Either one, but you want to put some element of that into your lesson plan and talk about how the theorist might approve of what you choose. Okay, so you choose something that's in line with that theory. All right, so that is the gist of what you're going to be doing this week. We are fully online this week, so if you have questions, feel free to reach out and shoot me an email. Otherwise, enjoy.